Doug. It's okay.
Fix it in post. I don't think there's such a thing. All right, fix it in post. All right, we're live. Jaws, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's watch a trailer. Oh, God. That was such a good opening, too. Why does everything have to
Good thing you
be
recorded it.
Yeah, I recorded it on my thing, so whenever we release the actual podcast, it'll be good to go.
Just leave all this in.
This part stays in. Oh, yeah, negative.
Are you showing the trailer?
Yeah, this is the trailer. Oh, God damn it. You guys can't see the trailer. Nothing's going right.
How they work with professionals, Doug? I'm going to have to go.
I know. Dude.
It's Doug's first time. Please leave him alone.
I was a virgin up until now.
All right, I can see it now.
Invite you back into the waters. This is the IMAX trailer, because the original trailer, I couldn't find a good version of it. The original summer blockbuster. Such a cool shot.
You yell shark, we've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
No shit.
That puberty voiced girl was probably the best actor in this movie. Shark!
Yeah, the 1 second she was on film.
I would have loved to have seen this in IMAX. This Labor Day weekend. It's such an intense trailer.
It's such an intense movie.
All right, that's good enough for the trailer. Let's talk history with Jaws. Who wants to go first? Everyone's got history with Jaws, right? Surely.
I think I'll go first because I'm probably the only person that saw it on opening weekend when it came out.
I wasn't even born yet, so yes, you are. How old were you whenever that came out?
What was it 70, 76?
75?
Nope, 75.
75. So I was 6 years old.
God damn! And you saw this movie opening weekend.
Saw it in the theater. Man,
everybody did.
It was insane. I lived in Florida at the time. I lived by the beach, and boy, that next weekend the beaches were dead because nobody was going to go in the fucking water anymore.
It ruined the beaches.
It was crazy, man. It was packed. There were people throwing up in the audience. I didn't see it, but like as we were walking in, we were hearing about people getting sick and fainting, and like this is one of those movies, man. The word of mouth was just insane, and yeah, it was awesome, dude.
The original blockbuster, right? This was the first one.
The first one.
This was the one that had people lining up around the clock to go see it, right? So.
Yeah, I had Jaws T-shirts. I had a whole bunch of. Matter of fact, I'm gonna find and send it to the group chat of me as a little kid wearing a fucking Jaws T-shirt.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. What were you gonna say, Jay?
It's coined the term blockbuster.
Yeah, this was the film that made it a reality, and it just kept making money and kept making money and kept making money and kept making money, like just endlessly. So, when did you see it, Jay? What's your history with it?
Man, I've probably seen it a ton of times. I was probably close to the same age Jessup was. This is a lot of kids' introductory horror movie, I think. It's only PG, so that's one thing. So everyone can go see it. It's bloody enough without being too bloody. So, plus I lived in landlocked Plano, Texas, so we weren't afraid of sharks at all.
No.
We had no fear of getting a shark attack. So it's very much a border, a seaside city's problem. So it's another one of those things where it's another one of those issues where when we see it, it can obviously not be your problem. I think it's much easier. It's a little more palpable to the kid. See, I was never scared of Jaws, but it was definitely the music, man, and all that. It was definitely riveting.
Very nice. Raph, how about you? What's your history with Jaws?
I remember seeing this when we first moved to Fort Worth in the drive-through. I think it was like one of the last drive-throughs in Dallas off of Jefferson, if I'm correct. And I saw it as a little kid. I was probably, like 13. And I had to be babysat the next summer at the pool. Like the babysitter would take us to the pool. And bro, I didn't get in the water for a while. And it was just the pool. It was just the pool. But
the bottom
yeah,
of the pool was gonna fall out, and a freaking freshwater shark was gonna come in that was not allergic to chlorine and shit.
I
It
don't
was gonna
care.
get
I don't
you.
care. I was little. I was 13. I was scared.
Yeah, dude. I watched. I think Jaws 3 was the first one I watched.
God.
I
That's a great. That's even better for a kid to
All
watch
I know
first.
is
Oh
it
my
starts.
God,
It
so
starts
bad.
at SeaWorld, and that's about the most I remember of it. Maybe that, and then I remember being afraid of like whatever it was on Sci-Fi Channel or something like that. And I didn't watch Jaws until I was in my 20s, so I was probably 23 when I saw it for the first time, and I was blown the fuck away by how good it was. Just like watching it again for this podcast, just blown away by how amazing this movie is. It's just perfectly timed. Like it's 2 hours and I don't mind it. That speaks a lot to me because anything more than an hour and a half, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, I like it. And so let us discuss it. I mean, what can you say about Jaws other than to praise it? First, we're gonna start with the poster. The poster is so freaking iconic. It's so ridiculously good and scary, and it sets up that beginning scene of the movie so perfectly. I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's a beautiful poster, and it's still scary. Like, I can share it with you guys right now.
Like they should have gave Chrissy more lines.
Oh yeah.
Chrissy.
And she's naked. Speaking of which, this was before PG-13, right? So
Yeah,
Raiders-
the fact this movie didn't get R is shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene is a crop shot of her vagina, and then at the end, when Quint gets eaten, he spits up blood everywhere. It must have been, I don't know how Spielberg pulled this off, getting a PG rating, because that movie should have been R, especially back then.
And this is the movie that made Spielberg. You know what I mean? This is the movie.
You know, he still has nightmares about this movie
What do you
I think
mean?
it's because
it was so stressful to make. The shark never worked. But what's great about it is because the shark never worked, it forced them to hide the shark, which makes it more suspenseful. Because if you look at the original script of the movie, the shark was supposed to be, ha ha, I'm a shark, right from the very beginning.
I'm here,
But
motherfuckers.
yeah, but they're like, because there's the actual mechanical shark is in very few shots.
Let us make
they-
sure
they
we
had
call
to
it by
hide it.
its proper name.
Bruce.
Thank you.
Yes.
The
Um,
gayest name a shark has ever had.
Before we go on sucking the dick of this movie too much,
Uh-huh.
I would like to point out a scene that drives me fucking bonkers. And I watch this movie every 4th of July. This is my 4th of July movie. But there's a scene in this movie that drives me fucking insane. I wish they would have fixed it in post because it is completely illogical. And that is when they go and look for the shark at night and they find the boat and what's his face gets in the water. Hooper gets in the water. He finds the shark tooth, and then the dead body comes through the hole, right? He screams. He comes up. Very next scene, they're talking to the mayor, and Brody goes, "Hey, tell the mayor about the boat. What'd you find?" And he's like, nothing.
Yeah.
You found a fucking dead body. There's 6 people missing from the fucking boat that has a giant hole in it that was attacked by a shark, and he doesn't say anything. They're trying to convince him to close the beach down. Here's your chance to say, these people were fucking murdered. There's a dead body. Here's the boat. But instead they go, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I got scared about something. And the reason why that is because that scene was shot like right before they gave it the final cut. And what happened was Spielberg wanted one more scare. He watched the cut. This needs one more big jump scare. So they actually went to somebody's pool and they put a boat in it and they filmed that scene.
No shit.
Yeah, in someone's fucking pool.
And that's why it doesn't make sense.
And that's why it's not cohesive. But man, it just drives every time I see the movie when that scene comes on, my butt clenches. Because I just want to, because you want to scream at him. You're
this
like,
shouldn't exist, Spielberg. Why did you fuck it up?
There's a dead body. These people were fucking murdered, which is interesting because remember the scene when Hooper first comes on and he's like, "Hey, there's too many people on the boat." That's the boat that ends up.
It is the boat.
Yeah, it's the boat that ends up getting attacked.
I didn't make that connection. Very nice.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I found that to be the most annoying scene because I was listening to it in my headphones and that scream underwater.
When they see the
The jump scare, that's what got me. It was more of the scream. It was some fucking such a high pitch scream in my ears, and it really did get me. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, when I was clipping it, I was like, whoa, they added the scream in, and then he screams, and I'm like, the whole thing's kind of weird, but it works because it is an added scare. Speaking of things that were cut or added, did they cut the affair out of the movie? Is that so they did film the affair, but they cut it?
Right? I don't know if they ever filmed it. I do know it's in the novel, but it was just going to be too convoluted, too much, and also it kind of it fucks up the friendship, and it makes Hooper the bad guy, and so I mean
that's what I was wondering watching it, if they cut it out, because there's a couple of scenes where there feels like there should be animosity between the characters, or you're reading it as animosity, and I was like, maybe
I don't know. Correct me, Jay, if I'm wrong, but I don't think they ever filmed that scene.
I don't think they did either. Yeah. Plus, I think another reason they didn't film it is because this was. I mean, let's take a step back a little bit. Let's give old Spielberg a little bit of a reprieve. He made this movie when he was 28 years old. What were we doing? What were we doing at 28 years old, guys? We weren't making Jaws. I'll tell you that much.
It was the second movie, right?
What?
The second studio film.
Something like that. Maybe even the third. See, I know he did Trucks. I know he did Trucks.
No, it wasn't Trucks. It was
The Road. The open.
No, it was a truck chasing somebody.
Yeah.
And it was basically.
Movie, right?
Made for TV movie, and then after that he did another movie, but this was his first like big movie.
All right, so he did Firelight, Duel, Ace Ally,
Duel,
and then he did the Sugarland Express. And then
Sugarland Express, Sugarland Express. So but still though, Jay, you're right. 28 years old. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I think a lot of times when we think about this, we think he was 50 years old when he made it. Like, so, I mean, we don't quite realize that. And then obviously it had all of these, mishaps and whatnot. But also let's also remember he's trying to make I think Spielberg was trying to make a blockbuster here.
Oh, for sure.
I think he was trying to make a commercial, like he wanted to make a movie that would it changed movies. Yeah. It absolutely changed movies.
Well, he thought his career was done. He thought when he finished making this movie, he would never be hired again because they went over budget. It was a nightmare, and he didn't think it would be any good.
Yeah, it really comes down to the editor sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking that as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know who edited this, but you got to give them the props because they edited it perfectly. And there's some scenes that I might have cut out of the movie. But it's fast-paced in a way that they probably hadn't seen up until that point because, and like the cinematography is beautiful. I think the score is the thing that holds this together more than glue. I think the score is a creature unto itself.
Oh, it's a character for sure.
Yeah, I think John Williams brought the pain of the shark within the score, and they did that knowing that they didn't have the film. And like I said, they chased barrels for hours, but that's a creative way to show the shark. Like I know that's probably part of the story, but I was like, what a unique way to be able to show something that wasn't working by having it like you never see below the surface, and when you do, you get the money shots, but you very rarely see below the surface to what's going on. And that entire chase scene in that third act works based on the barrels. And it's good. Based on the barrels.
Your imagination.
Yes.
Your imagination. You know what's underneath those barrels. It's that massive shark because I think the scene that really works well is the boat scene where the guy gets his leg cut off. The shot of the shark coming up to the guy. And it's the first time we see how big this shark is.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so now we have that in our mind, how big this shark is. So every time you see those barrels, and that's the old Hitchcock thing, the human imagination is a lot more visceral than what's on the screen.
And what's wonderful is they actually show the size of the shark when it goes underneath the orca, and you actually get to see it at a certain point, and you're like, holy shit, this thing's bigger than the boat. And he literally says, we're going to need a bigger boat,
Great line.
But being able to see less is more in every instance in this film. And that's what's so beautiful about it. And knowing that it was a hectic production and the machine or the robot kept breaking down. And like even watching it, sometimes you can tell that's a robot. Like you're just it doesn't matter. You will suspend your disbelief because it's such beautifully done craftsmanship. And I absolutely love it. I apologize.
Well, and also they did a really smart thing They went to Australia and they made a scaled down cage because it was supposed to be a little person was supposed to be inside of it. But what happened was a real great white shark got on top of the cage between the boat and the cage, and that's real footage you see in the movie. But what happened was the little person and the little supposed to be a little person in that cage, of course, wasn't in there. They had to rewrite the script to explain why Hooper was out of the cage. And so,
Okay.
because originally he was supposed to be killed, originally he was supposed to be killed. But they were like, you know what? That's such a cool shot. We'll keep that in there, and we'll have Hooper escape. But man, that's what scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Where
with the sharks flopping in between. I
yes,
was sitting there wondering how the hell did they do that? Like
yeah,
that
and
looks so
the
real.
reason why that shark looks so big is because the cage was like
Genius.
was
So it was
small. Yeah,
just a lucky thing that happened. Then it was.
yeah.
pure
They did a really good
serendipity.
job of blending live footage of a shark with the mechanical shark.
Yeah, I mean, and plus you're underwater, that muddies the footage, but like, and that's what I think is so wonderful is, like I said, you don't spend that much time. It's like two separate worlds. You have the world underwater, which is pure danger, and then you have this world where they're hunting. But are they hunting or are they being hunted at a certain point? And I think that really changes the game because how smart is this shark? They never outright say like. Well, no, actually, Quint does say it. He says he's either a really stupid fish or a very smart one. So I guess he does say it at a certain point. And how about the character of Quint? Robert Shaw just bringing the pain. My God, I love Quint. I thought he won an Oscar for this performance. Evidently, he didn't. He won one for A Man of All Seasons, which I believe is it Shakespeare? I don't even remember. But yeah, bringing the pain. How about you guys with Quint? What do you think? Raph, I seen you down there shaking your head.
Oh
like,
yeah,
Fuck
I
yeah!
love his favorite. My favorite line from him was when Hooper was gathering all the equipment, and he's walking by him, and he's like, "Hey, what are you? Some kind of astronaut?" And then the guy behind him just laughs. That was such a good line.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I loved his character just because he was drunk the whole time. He was very cocky and very arrogant, so he had to get his comeuppance. But he played that very well.
The Indianapolis speech alone, where he sells it, oh, that's awesome, dude. I totally want one of those. That's bomb. That
Is he missing half his body?
Yeah. Jessup can fix that. He can make it happen. The Indianapolis speech, though, that is a real thing that actually happened with the sharks infesting the waters and eating the guys after the ship was taken down by the torpedo. And the last podcast on the left recently did a coverage of that, and it was pretty cool. But like his telling of it is so realistic, his acting so good, you actually believe he was there. That is a powerhouse performance. It's crazy. How about you, Jay? What do you think about Quint? Is he your favorite?
Absolutely. Well, this movie does not work without Quint at all. Actually, I will take back what I originally said earlier. Watching him die was the hardest thing for me because, like, I don't know, I really, really, really connected to that guy, and I was like, Brody can die, Hooper can die, but I definitely don't want Quinn to go. That would have just broken my heart.
Well, and his death scene, the way he screams, Jay, as he's about to be eaten by the shark, because what you get is you get him reliving PTSD, the horror of the Indianapolis all over again.
At that age, I was nuanced enough to really get that part. I mean, you're right, but I mean, the first time I saw it, I would have never even thought of that personally. But yeah, you're totally right. It's definitely very sad. I mean, it's heartbreaking, and it's like not only that, but it's kind of like if you look at a game of chess, like Jaws just took like he almost took out your queen. Like that's a heavy hitter for Jaws to just be like, yep, off the table.
Got him.
Try something else. I mean, if you think
I
about
take
it, right?
your Quint.
Yeah, there you
go. No, dude, it's true because he's such a pivotal character, and he's so arrogant but lovable, and like he just reminds you of like the grandfather you never had, like just somebody who's a real masculine figure. You know what I mean? And like the fact that he's busting balls left and right, he's just a pure seaman or seaman. I'm not sure what the word is. Thank you, Raph.
Heyo.
What's the story behind the writing of the Indianapolis? I know there was a lot of people involved. I believe that the guy that directed Conan the Barbarian, he had his hand in it. it went through a lot of different writers, and it was not an easy process to get that thing written and to trim it down the way it was. And I think even Quint, the actor, had a hand in it as well.
Well,
sorry, go ahead, Jay.
well, I mean, and also like it's one of the most important stories of the movie. It's the ghost story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the campfire tale, and the best we got was a Nicolas Cage movie. Like
Oh my God, so
like
bad.
you think like if Spielberg ever wanted to direct something close to Jaws,
Do you know
yeah.
he was supposed to? He was supposed to direct a prequel. Basically, he was supposed to direct the Indianapolis story, but then Close Encounters and all this other stuff
Well,
happened.
but like this would have been a great 21st century project for Steven. I mean, I think he could have skipped War of the Worlds and done that one, and I think it would have been probably a lot more poignant. But I mean,
Let's be honest. There's a lot of movies Steven could have skipped. Always. There's a lot. I mean, Steven's an amazing director, but he's also human and fallible.
oh,
And there's
1941.
1941, the big fucking giant. He said some misses in there.
For some
But,
reason,
but-
everyone always says Hook, but I don't get it. I love Hook.
Man, yeah. Well, if you,
Rocky killed Hook.
but I saw, but Deck, you and I saw it when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like it was meant for us. As a kids movie, it's flawless. I mean, that's the way you look at it. But as a movie by the numbers, yeah, it's got some problems, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's really cool that he was going to direct an Indianapolis prequel. That would have been bomb. Let's not say it's too late to happen. That would be an amazing film to watch, especially if you follow the character Quint as a youngster in that situation. That could be an amazing film done by him. I would love to see that. And he doesn't really do sequels. I think the only one he ever did was Jurassic Park 2. So that would be interesting to see him actually. Is there any other ones he's done sequel-wise? Spielberg, prequels, sequels? I can't. Other than Indiana Jones, does that count? I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, it totally counts. You totally described yourself.
My bad. Well, he's not doing the newest one, so it doesn't count. Sadly.
Who was doing the newest one?
Mangold. James Mangold is doing it. So he originally was going to direct it, and then he dropped out because of coronavirus and didn't really give another reason for that. And they filmed during coronavirus, and they had a couple scares, and that the guy who directed Logan is directing the new Indiana Jones. But he's made it as much of a Spielberg film as he possibly can. And what does that mean? I don't know what a Spielberg film means, but I know that it has a certain feeling to it. Because high adventure,
this
high
movie
octane,
definitely has.
what is it?
He has. Well, there's always those shots of the light breaking through the fog, the giant light breaking through the fog. There's the shot that he borrowed from Hitchcock, where it's the camera pulls away.
Yeah.
And then Spielberg's also known for 3 or 4 characters talking over each other. And the reason why he does that is growing up, his family would always fight and they would argue.
That's interesting that you would say that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that arguing. And it's like, I don't understand people who do that. But yeah.
No, I noticed that.
No, I get it too, man. I totally.
Well, it makes it feel more realistic. Is the thing? Is it? I know you're trying to talk over me. No, it makes.
And if you want to see a great scene, if you want to see a great scene for that, one of the first scenes in Close Encounters of the Third Kind is when they're in the airport, and it's air traffic controllers, and they're all talking over each other, and one's talking to the pilot, the other one's talking to his boss, but it's a very realistic scene because that's how things happen. Yeah. That's how they go down.
I would actually agree that people talking over each other, it feels very natural because you got movies like Quentin Tarantino. He's loves dialogue, but I feel like his characters are, even though they're like criminals and whatnot, they're in conversations, they're pretty polite. And it's your turn, and now it's your turn, and sometimes a little interruption here or there. That's a tough thing to master. I think that's one of his more underrated talents.
Yeah, and having that dialogue be in such a way that everyone is understood and heard too, because it is a hodgepodge of madness. But it's real. In real life, you have people talking and people talking over each other, and that's just the way conversations go. So that gives another level of realism to a lot of the stuff. But like, there is something about he has very specific camera shots. He works. I think the thing that comes down to Spielberg is he's good with working with others, and he knows it's a team effort. Like he doesn't edit his films. He's not one of those people who really writes his films. He gets scripts and he works on them from there. He is a producer for a lot of things where he'll come up with ideas and let people run with it. But he's a hell of a team player, is what I think it is, and that's what makes him a master filmmaker. Because the director's job is to make sure everything else is going good around them and to work with the actors the best they can. You know what I mean? But the producer is really the one that comes in. And I don't know if Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall were the producers on this or not. But I know he eventually on Indiana Jones started working with them. And once he got them as producers, he pretty much kept them as producers for the remainder of his film set, especially Kathleen Kennedy. She produced like a shit ton of his films. So it's finding the right team, and he's just really good at that. And one of my favorite stories about Jaws is he left the filming before it was finished. The last day of filming, he was on a plane heading back to L.A., and he was sitting next to Richard Dreyfuss, and Dreyfuss said, is the movie finished? How did things go? And he goes, no. He goes, they're still filming it. And what they were filming was the Jaws exploding scene. But he was afraid that the crew was going to play a prank on him if he stuck around, so he left a day early.
That's funny.
I think that is awesome, dude. That's an awesome story.
But by the way, that is an amazing shot of the underwater shot of the shark after it explodes. The way it goes down in front of the camera, you see its fin as it slowly goes down. And that's just one of those happy accidents. Shit like that back then you didn't have CGI to film it. It just had to happen in camera.
Yeah. I am deathly afraid of sharks. I have a severe fear of them to the point where before I go to sleep, if I'm thinking about nightmarish shit, the idea of sliding into the belly of a shark still half alive and like suffocating within its stomach, like how Quint would have probably, if I don't know, hopefully he was dead. That scares the shit out of me. Are you kidding me, dude? That's so scary.
Oh.
And
what a way to go.
You'd be dead from the shock of all the blood loss way before you ever felt any of that.
But what if you weren't, dude? What if it was like that situation in X where the alligator gets the girl, like she was still screaming in its belly?
Hey, spoilers.
My bad.
Well, the difference between the two is that a shark has one row of teeth. A crocodile has one row of teeth, whereas a shark has many rows of teeth to eat you with. And so
shark teeth is like comics, Jay, right? One leaves the scene, there's 12 more waiting to take their place.
And not only that, they're known to regrow their teeth, because their entire skeleton's cartilage. So
it's such a bummer whenever he loses the tooth. Hooper's really good about dropping shit underwater because he drops the tooth and then he drops the syringe later or the harpoon.
Or being a professional.
Okay, let's talk about Hooper. Let's talk about that character.
He's a piece of shit, if you ask me.
Well, sure. Well, I'll tell you a couple.
He's rich.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a couple of things I know about Hooper and also the guy who played him, Richard Dreyfuss. That guy got more ass than a toilet seat during this movie. He long talked about how much punani that he got while working on this movie. He was like, dude, it was amazing. It was like Disneyland for him. And I thought that was a very interesting take on it because it's Richard Dreyfuss. I'm Richard Dreyfuss. I was in Jaws. The old Family Guy bit. But I will tell you this as well. You talked about how this movie caused beaches to kind of dry up. Well, this movie also caused another thing. It caused a massive insurgence of people who actually went into marine biology, all because of the character of Hooper.
Oh yeah.
No shit.
So absolutely. The Shark Week and all the stuff that we see nowadays, you can attribute a lot of that to a lot of people being, I want to be Hooper. And it's I think it's helped us with a lot of our technology about studying sharks, and not just sharks, but other marine life. This movie has a lot of rippling effects that were really, really positive, and I remember that was a big chunk of it was that character.
Yeah.
Well, and this movie also caused a massive rise in the slaughtering of sharks.
Yeah, that's too.
Well, fuck those
That
sharks.
too.
Fuck those sharks. No, with Hooper, I think that character, I like that character because he's right about 95% of the time. It's just he's so young, the other characters don't really listen to him. And like,
especially Quint. Quint hates
Quint
him.
can't stand him until they bond over their scars, you know. And
Yeah.
at that point when they're drinking and I love that version of Quint where he's laughing and having a good time. But he is the captain of that vessel and he does shout a lot of orders, but whatever he tells Hooper to do, he's able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like he's arrogant, but he's got the right to be because he's got the skills to pay said bills. And like I said, the only thing that bothers me is in the back of my head, I'm like, did he sleep with Brody's wife? That son of a bitch.
Only in the novelization.
I know.
Guys, here's the thing that bothers me though. We've talked a lot about all these characters, the shark. We have not talked about the villain of this movie.
The mayor.
The mayor.
What a son of a bitch!
Well, I mean, he is, but he's also, as a public official, he's definitely, trying to make that money. It's
here's the thing, Jay. This is why he is the biggest villain of this movie. He does one thing, and it's in the very beginning. It's a very, very small scene, but to me, it attaches itself to another pivotal scene in the movie, and that's when they're on the little ferry and they're going across, and Brody says, "This isn't what you told me earlier. It's not a fishing accident." And the doctor puts his leg up and he fucking lies to him and says, "Yes, it's a fishing accident." So that's what you told me before. What you put your name on it, and in that scene, the mayor pressured the doctor to lie because originally the doctor was like, "Oh yeah," or the mortician or whatever. The guy that did the autopsy was like, "Oh yeah, this is a shark attack." He lied, and then the other pivotal scene that goes up to, which I love, is when Hooper does the autopsy, and he's all pissed off.
Oh yeah,
and he goes, "This was not a shark. This was not a boating accident." And you look over at the doctor, and he does this. He's like, he's shamed. He's shamed because he knows he took part in the death of the little, what's the kid's last name, Kinzinger, or the Kittler.
Kittler, yeah.
What's the kid's name? The Kittler boy.
It's Kittler.
Yeah, I think it's Kittler. Kittinger? I don't know.
No. What is it, Jay? What's the kid's name?
Man, you would ask.
You are our IMDb. Do you not know this?
I know. But like, if you even try to look up this movie is so coveted that even
Kittinger.
trying to find the cast for it, they don't even have him right there. Kittner
Boyd. Yeah, you could see in that scene. You know that the doctor knows that he's responsible for the Kittner boy's death. He took a part in it by lying.
So why didn't he get slapped? Why did Brody get slapped? It's bullshit.
Because I know. Boy, he got slapped. You know that
Brody should have slapped the fucking doctor.
I know. Well, that's the thing that makes me mad too, is that Brody never really. There's that one scene in the hospital, which, by the way, is amazing because the mayor is smoking in the hospital, and you could smoke in the hospital in this
You
day.
can smoke everywhere but the morgue. Everywhere but the morgue, because Hooper will yell at you if you try to. Don't smoke in here.
Oh, that's right. Hooper will yell at you for trying to smoke in there.
Yeah.
Well, dude, they were smoking in The Exorcist 3, which was 15 years after this.
Yeah.
I started watching that the other night. I got to finish that.
So, have you not seen it before?
I've seen it. I saw it in the theater when it came out, but I haven't seen it since.
As a former smoker, whenever I see people smoking in these old movies, it's so hard because I get the nicotine fit. Like, it's like, oh man, I know they're delicious, but they're terrible for you. But like, I always get tempted, and I'm just like, you could smoke in the hospital? Are you kidding me? How cool is that?
I'm yet to see a movie where I've seen anyone smoke on a plane, even though I still fly on planes that have ashtrays.
You know what they did? It wasn't a movie, but that series on Netflix, which was about the FBI people that were hunting serial killers, Mindhunters. Mindhunters. They had scenes on the airplane, and the big gruff guy, he was smoking. And I was like, they did it, but it wasn't a movie though. It was. This
is a super, super tangent, and I apologize to Jaws, but that guy, Colt McCaney, he is going to play the patriarch of the Von Erich family in the new A24 movie, all about the Von Erichs.
I could see that. Oh, I met the grandkids. They were wrestling at a venue I was performing at.
That's awesome. But yeah, just little shout out to the Von Erichs.
Fuck yeah.
Did you get to meet Sting this weekend, Jay?
No, I wasn't here this weekend.
Okay.
I was, but no, just so y'all know, Brad Williams is here this weekend. He's a huge wrestling fan, so he brings out at least one or two every year, and he was teasing that he was going to bring my favorite all-time wrestler to the club because he lives in Waxahachie, but oops, don't want to put your stuff on French Street thing, sorry, but
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Still pretty cool. All right, back to Jaws. We didn't talk about Brody, Chief Brody. I love at the end the crazy maniacal laughter he does after he explodes the shark. I think that is so cool. What is the actor's name? God, it's Roy Schneider. Is that right?
Roy Scheider.
Oh, the old Scheider. He went on to be the captain on Sequest, and that's what I remember him from. I guess it's kind of typecasting in a way. I never thought about that. But I remember when I was a kid, that show was like underwater Star Trek, and I thought it was the shit when it really wasn't that good. But he is amazing in this film. Is he in the sequel? Is he in the second one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One,
He's the man. Yeah.
Yeah, he comes back.
He gets fired in the second one.
Yeah. Is the second one worth my time, or is it?
Of course, the first two really work. I'd say.
Yeah, the second one's got some really good kills, some good shark kills in it.
Cool. I know 4 is the one that everyone detests. With yeah, everyone finds the Revenge to be the worst one, but I think the hot wife comes back in that, and she was hot. I apologize for what I've done.
No.
But yeah, so what else do we have to say about Jaws? Like, it's pretty much a perfect film, isn't it?
What's interesting, besides that one scene, it's a perfect film, but it's also interesting that it's almost cut into 2 parts. This movie could have been part 1 and part 2.
Absolutely.
The first part is the shark hunting people on the beach, and the second part is them going out in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost split right down the middle. It's almost at an hour, and then the next hour.
And
so
it's something I don't like about it that bothers me is how much they have to set up, like the mayor won't listen to them. But now that I've kind of like watched it again today, like it bothered me, but I was like, but you need that because that's what makes it feel real. You need that. You need the 3 kills before they say, okay, we've got to shut down the beaches.
Yeah.
We've got to get this shark. Because after 2, like even after 2, after they kill the little boy, they're just like, nah, it's still fine.
Well, and also you got to remember, they thought they caught the shark.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
They killed the little boy. They thought they caught him until they cut him open. But at that point, no one's going to believe him. It's the 4th of July weekend, and plus they have all the shark spotters out there. And that's the thing is, the shark doesn't attack the beach; he attacks the little pond inlet area. Oh, and by the way, one of the cool things I love foreshadowing. Did you guys notice in the beginning of the film when Brody is like, "We got to go and tell the Boy Scout people to be careful," because he knew the Boy Scouts were going to be doing their swimming thing. Did you notice that who is out there with the Boy Scouts? It's the guy in the red boat, the one that gets eaten at the
holy shit.
Right.
No,
it's the same. It's the same red boat. It's a little foreshadowing.
A lot of connection.
By Stephen.
What were you gonna say, Raph?
I forget. Oh yeah, no. When the little boy died, they showed the stick the dog was playing. But I think the dog sensed it, and the dog got the fuck out of there because that's the only kill you don't see.
That's right. Yeah.
Never saw that dog get eat.
Which, by the way, that the scene of the boy getting killed was, to me, is one of the most horrific scenes.
It's brutal.
And it's so crazy because it's like, it reminded me of like the alien from Alien, when you don't see what it looks like because you don't really see the shark. You see this spinning thing,
right? And
then you see the kid being drugged down. But man, it was a brutal kill. Also, if you look online, there's some deleted scenes from Jaws. There's one where the shark is dragging the guy from the boat that got his leg ripped off. He's dragging him through the water, but they said it was too graphic for the movie, so they cut it. Yeah.
I believe the first scene was gonna be the one that got me because that girl, she was screaming for reals when they were pulling her.
Oh yeah.
They were pulling her back and forth, and she started saying like, "Fuck, this hurts," and those were real screams. So that one looked pretty brutal. But again, Quinn's at the end, again with him gurgling the blood. I forgot about that. That was such a great scene because he's like, "Fuck," and then it just all comes out.
Oh, and the way the shark kind of drags him underwater, and then
it's real slow.
Real slow. And then the next shot when the shark busts through the boat,
window,
you see Quint's flesh on his teeth.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
fucking
so
intense.
gross.
That's what I was saying. Like when he exploded that shark, he exploded Quint too. So
So I
yeah.
didn't like that when the shark jumped onto the boat, like almost all of it onto the boat. I think that boat should have been gone, but I didn't like that last part. But yeah, it was awesome.
they
It
should have
was
got a
hard
bigger
to
boat.
talk shit about this movie because it was really well made.
Yeah, like I said, there's only one scene. I
Yeah,
understand that what did it, it just kind of drives me nuts. But I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, I watch it every year. I've got all these toys and action figures from it.
So
It's
I was
from my
watching it
childhood.
this morning, and while I was training Ethan, and so he was working on something. So I'm sitting there watching it, and like I'm sitting there gasping at my phone, like at moments, because I'm just like,
Yep.
this is so well made. I can't help but to be enthralled by it and excited by it and titillated, if you will.
One more thing. Sorry. How I love this movie also because it has so many naturally good, funny moments. One of my favorite scenes is between the husband and the wife when he is like, "We need to get the kids out of the boat," and she was like, "Leave them alone, hon. They're just having fun." And she flips open the shark book and
Yeah.
she sees the picture of the boat being attacked by the shark, and she's like, "Get out of the water!
The
You
fuck
heard
out
your
of the water.
father."
I will say that is the one thing. He seemed to be
That was
looking at the
great.
pictures an awful lot and not reading. And I remember, and I
But
was
you
sitting
saw
there
he
thinking,
learned a lot.
he learned a lot from just the pictures, because like he would just be flipping backwards and forward through that book and looking. Like I was like, can he
Oh,
not read?
also, did you see the another foreshadowing of the pictures he was flipping? They showed a shark that had a air tank in its mouth.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Holy shit!
No, I did see the shark fucking up the boat, and I'm like, oh shit, they better not get on a boat.
They're in a lot of trouble. All right. Well, Raph, you got a list of things, or did we? Pretty much hit
Yeah, but
everything?
really went through most of it. The Bronco he's driving's badass.
That's
I
so
got-
random. That's so
It's so
random,
badass.
Raph.
It is
It's so,
badass, though.
bro.
It
You don't
is
see
really
those
good.
nowadays. I saw that and
Yeah.
I'm like, I want it. When he typed shark on the typewriter, I actually got goosebumps.
Yeah,
Like,
shark
when he-
That's
attack.
good.
Again, and, it
That's a
goes back
cool
to
thing, seeing like the old copy paper and having the shark
Yeah.
attack on there is bad.
and he's like shark attack, and I was like, fuck. And yeah, again, the score does great. I did have a problem with it when the score does try to go comical, and you hear it go up. Like there was one I forgot the part, but about Hooper does something, and I remember it really threw me off when the it got comical there.
Are you
But
judging
yeah,
John Williams' masterpiece score of Jaws? How dare
I
you,
love
sir.
when the two old men are chumming the water with the roast beef, and the dock gets taken out and then comes back. That was a great scene too. They just barely escaped.
Does the movie work without that scene, though? I think it does. I think that
It works with a lot of scenes, but it goes by so fast. I time checked. It was like 1:30 when I realized it was almost over. I was like, damn, it went by so fast.
Well, that's why this movie kind of changed the way filmmaking is done, because compared to other films of the time, this was laser focused, laser fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his fast breakneck pace of like making a film.
Well,
is completely
every
different.
scene in this movie matters, and I think one of the most powerful scenes is the one between him and his son, when his son's mimicking him.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very beautiful, very heartfelt, and it shows this guy's a family man.
And
you know.
that scene was done by accident. The kid started copying everything he was doing as they were waiting in between, and Spielberg's like, "Film it, fucking get that on
It was
some
very sweet.
film."
And do you see Matt Hooper kind of did that when he was on the boat and Quinn
With
was
the-
yelling at him?
And
Yeah.
he was squishing the styrofoam cup.
Yeah, and then he goes, that shit was funny too. But the slap when Brody got slapped, that was great. That was a really emotional scene because he knew, and we all know he knew, so
Yep.
he should have done something about it. My favorite line from Brody was when they're gonna go cut up the fish, and Hooper asked him, "You can do that?" "I can do anything. I'm the chief of police." Typical white cop, obviously. And then he's the only one in the island, so he's gonna get away with it.
I was kind of bummed out when they ripped open the shark and they had the license plate inside of it. That the license plate didn't say THX 1138.
Yeah, that was a rock. Little callback there. That was a bomb.
That would be great.
I got a few little last second fun facts I'd like to talk about Jaws.
Sure, hit it up.
One thing you can definitely say about Jaws is that it's a movie that has been ripped off so many times, and not just ripped off; it's inspired a lot of movies, including
Sharknado.
Alien.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's inspired good. Oh, just the tension and whatnot, and the music. Yeah,
well, the unbeatable monster.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not. I wouldn't ever say Alien ripped it off. I would say it definitely helped. It helped that movie. But yeah, it's also had some pretty egregious ripoffs, and I'll go over just a few. Hopefully, I don't spoil any of your movie choices later on, Duck. But a couple of my favorites would have been Piranha. Definitely thought Piranha was fun, and probably the best. To me, the best ripoff was Orca.
Oh, dude!
I loved Orca.
As a kid, I was staying with my mom. She had HBO, and back then HBO would replay movies over and over again. And I must have seen Orca 100 times. It's so bad now if you watch it, especially the special effects.
Sure.
But back then, as a kid, I fucking loved that movie. Richard Harris
acts his ass off.
So good, and it's a devastating story of a father watching his wife give birth and that child being murdered by somebody.
But here's the other thing. They actually said that Jaws then doubled down and stole the idea of the shark having vengeance for the Brody family, which was not in the original, obviously. That's something that was in Orca. This Orca is a serial killer, and I'm not even kidding you. In this movie, it literally follows them, I think, all the way to the North Pole.
Yeah,
it follows them all the way. And
I wouldn't say a serial killer. I would say a vengeful father.
That's what I mean. But it's coming after him. It's getting his pound of flesh. But the other thing is, like, you learn this later on, and one of the reasons they chose Orca is because the orca is one of the great whites' natural predators.
Yep. There's actually just on Reddit I saw a footage of 2 orcas killing a great white.
Absolutely.
And great whites will warn other great whites to stay out of certain parts of the ocean if they know orcas swim there. They don't, man. Great whites will not fuck with orcas, man. Well, what's funny is, what is Orca? It's the name of the boat in Jaws.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I was thinking that.
It's funny to think of a creature that the great white calls sir.
Yeah. Dude, orcas don't fuck around, man. There's a reason why they're called a killer whale.
Yeah.
So what were the other films?
A couple other ones. Okay, well, you're probably going to mention Deep Blue Sea later. But Deep Blue Sea is obviously, probably that's probably to me. I like Deep Blue Sea probably better than Jaws personally, because I'm a big Rennie Harlan fan. He directed my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street, and I thought his work on Deep Blue Sea was pretty palatable. The movie was a lot better than it deserved to be. Open Water, 47 Meters Down.
I love Open Water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, just there's
what
plenty
was
more.
The one with the hot girl surfer girl who gets stranded out in the.
That's 47. I think that's 47 Meters Down.
No, those girls are stuck underwater. This is a surfer girl.
You're talking about Blake Lively, right?
Yeah.
What was that one
called? That was really good. Like I was really impressed with that one.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think most of the movies that kind of borrow from, I'm not going to say most of them because sci-fi obviously, had their damage. But I thought a lot of the movies that inspired did it pretty well, and it wasn't just in the water. A couple of my favorites, Prophecy, totally ripped off Jaws. Grizzly, oh my God, Grizzly, Lake Placid,
Lake Placid's so good.
But that's what I'm saying, The Shallows. The
Shallows. That's a good movie, man.
But yeah, creature features. This movie really introduced you to the idea that a creature could. This isn't a monster movie. This is like a horror movie involving something that you could actually run into. And all these other ones are like, yep, we're gonna have the Jaws of this. The Jaws. It's always like the Jaws we see. Alien was called Jaws in space.
Yeah.
Everything was. Everything, the Jaws. Did you
guys ever read the story that this is kind of based on? And they mentioned it in the movie, which is I think it was in New Jersey where a great white shark went upriver, and this is like back in the 1900s, I think, and killed a shit ton of people.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It went to a couple of different beaches in New York and Jersey, like you said.
Yeah.
So it freshwater shark, dude. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but that's what it was doing. It was cranking around.
Well, it was because the salt water was enough into the rivers.
And guys, how do I pass over this? The Meg. The Meg.
Oh yeah, the Meg.
And the Meg is awesome. The Meg is an awesome movie. It cranks everything up to 30, obviously.
The quote on the Meg was, instead of "we're going to need a bigger boat, we're going to need a bigger shark." So it's always a bigger fish. So. Oh,
and here's another little piece of trivia. And I think it's either Piranha, the new Piranha, or one of those. Richard Dreyfuss comes back as Hooper and gets killed.
Nice.
What movie is that? Let's go take a look at that.
I liked the new Piranha. I thought that was funny.
It's one of those. It's one of those movies where I mean they might not even give him they might not even use the name for copyright reasons, but it's heavily implied.
It's the same character.
Funny.
Because he's a dick. He's same old Hooper. He's just same old jerky.
I'm pretty sure that's just Richard Dreyfuss, from what I understand. He's not a very pleasant person, from what I've read. So
really,
yeah, I've read a lot of stories of him having confrontations with fans of Jaws, where he wasn't very happy when they asked him Jaws questions. So yeah, not a big.
That's interesting. Why? Well, I mean, people. Sure.
It's like Tom Wilson with Back to the Future. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's good. He's moved past it, but we haven't yet. We still want to talk about it. Let us talk about it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about Jaws?
No, it's fucking awesome.
It's a fucking masterpiece. So it's tight. So recommend. I think we all recommend it, but let's find out. Jay, do you recommend it?
Of course.
Yeah. Raph?
I love recommending it to people who are scared of the water.
David?
It's one of my "if you don't like this movie, we can't be friends" movies.
And I hate it. No, I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. It's worth every second. I'm excited. We're going to watch some clips of it. So
even with the shitty animatronic, it still made a great film.
It's not a shitty animatronic. It's just very misunderstood.
That's one of the worst. But it was great.
At the time, it was also one of the best.
Oh yeah.
And that's why. Go on.
I was gonna say, has anyone been to Universal before they closed down the Jaws
ride? Have you?
Yeah.
How was it whenever the shitty shark came out?
Amazing. It was so fucking cool.
Yeah. It's got 3 different areas where the shark chases you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that the guys from South Park, before they made South Park, made a thing on Universal Studios, basically parodying it and satirizing it and making fun of it. And they're like, lame and boring. Every time they show the shark, they're like, this is lame and boring. I'll find it later and send it to you guys. It's fucking genius. But anyhow, all right, here we go with the clips. Yum! Oh, it's so iconic, the drip down.
Oh, that's why it wasn't rated R, because it wasn't full frontal nudity.
It was full bottom nudity.
It was full side nudity.
Nudity wasn't a deal breaker back then.
No. I remember in Clash of the Titans, you got to see titties, and I was a kid and going, oh, wow, this is interesting. Do you think she was screaming because she was... Oh,
she was hurting.
I saw a nipple.
Right. She was hurting.
That was a great death scene, man.
So
oh, my God.
It's so iconic. Like, that first 5-6 minutes of the movie just totally sets it up.
And the screaming was so, just real. Like Roth said, man. Yeah, she was hurting.
Yeah.
The yard.
They're in the yard, not too far from the car.
And the car.
How's that?
Like you're from New York.
The body.
When I was a kid, I thought where Amity Horror was where the shark was. I didn't realize that Amity was a fake town.
The shark was haunting the house.
Yeah. I thought I was like, man, Amity must be a really bad place to live.
I'm moving there. The body. See, this is such a Spielberg like thing where he has like the deputy like freaking out over seeing the body. Like it's that little character moment that really matters. Oh yeah, the crab's got it. Did you guys know that evidently Amelia Earhart crash landed on an island and was eaten by coconut crabs? You ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know crabs are like little. Well, I guess they are scavengers, so that makes sense. Piece of shit, Mayor.
Look at that jacket.
Serious here. It's your first summer, you know. What does that mean?
He threatened him. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Bad hat, Harry.
It's cold. We know all about you, Chief. You
Those
don't go in the
pristine
water
milking.
at all, do you?
Some bad hat, Harry.
Oh, another interesting thing about this movie, all the beach scenes in the water were filmed during the winter. And so if you notice that people getting in the water are freezing their fucking asses off.
Nice.
The second kill. I almost called it Kid Crunchies, but then I felt bad. And then I told you about it. Oh, it's so epic. Oh, he falls. Oh, God, it's horrible.
Boy, in one shot, basically Spielberg goes against norms and kills a dog and a child.
We don't see that.
That dog.
I think the dog got away.
All right, what if? All right, follow me. What if the dog is the shark? All right, never mind.
Oh, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Oh, some girl's having her period. Oh.
Get out of there, Quint.
But it's not going to be pleasant. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10. You got to make up your minds. $10,000 for me by myself. For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
That's such a cool line, Hooper.
I like Hooper. I think he was my favorite.
Back, young fella.
They
How
looked
are
like
you?
they were
Go
gonna
back.
kiss for a
Go
second.
back.
You want them to. That's
Yeah,
why.
they got
Go
close.
back, young fella. How are you?
It's no COVID time, so they're not worried about it.
Those nuts, are you?
Who are you? Matt Hooper. I'm from the Oceanographic Institute.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, you're the guy we called. I'm Brody.
Oh, I'm very glad to meet you.
Yeah, I'm glad to meet you,
Listen,
too.
I know you got a lot on your hands.
He
right
almost
now,
kissed
but
him
what can we do
too.
for you?
Yeah.
Don't.
What do you say we go knock the dust off some of the local ladies, Roy?
Don't smoke. Uh-oh. Come on. Don't do this.
Sternum and portions of the rib cage are intact. Do not smoke in here. Thank you very much. This is
Oh,
what happens.
there's a shark tooth in the fucking.
Jalard Squalus.
Schmack.
Chief Brody,
Yes?
Boom.
Boom.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it.
Take that. Peekaboo. Here's your scene, David.
Oh, man.
Did it get you again, Raph?
It wasn't as loud this time.
It's definitely cheating. There's no denying it. Like that, they have that female scream.
Yeah, they didn't need that scream there.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I would have still shit my pants.
Yeah, it definitely got me whenever I was watching it earlier. I was like, oh shit, fake out. I love that it's
Kids
just a
aren't
couple
scared, They're
kids.
freezing. Look how
Yeah.
they're shaking. They're like, it's 30 degrees in the water.
Yeah, they are. What would have made this scene better was if they would have shot him first and then found out they're kids.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Does it look like a young Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
Well, it kind of does. I'm Matt Damon.
Lunchy munchies.
That's such a cool shot.
Oh, there goes the leg.
Yeah, man. The more you watch, the more you're like, this totally should have been rated R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Like,
very cool.
like Spielberg.
Yeah.
Spielberg has that way about him, though, man. Like his movies just don't get an R rating unless he wants them to.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well, when Brody's watching those pictures, those are actual people, and you can
Yeah.
see the wounds.
Yep.
Like those are pretty graphic.
But let's just be clear. This movie is more graphic than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, you're right. Cheers.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Hell yeah. My girlfriend heard that earlier, and she goes, "That's so wrong." And I was like, "It's
So hey,
hysterical."
I did want to ask you guys, why do you think Clint freaks out and smashes the radio? Why
because
doesn't
he wants
want
to
go
catch the
back?
shark. He
Wants a cloud.
He's going after the great white whale. Basically.
Yeah, he's Ahab. He's Ahab.
Okay, you know what? I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You're right. He is Ahab. This is his great white whale.
Yep.
You're right.
Well, did you see his shack there with all those fucking
The teeth.
Yeah.
He's getting revenge.
He's getting
for
revenge.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%.
He's taking them out one species at a time, like a shark fin.
Faces.
Yeah.
What's the point? Books and lines.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Chum this shit.
Oh, this is a great misdirect.
Come on down and chum some of this shit.
That's a good one.
There he is. Brucey's here.
And then he just fucking walks back.
Oh, how about that? The great where he's like, tell him, I need you to get in the shot for scale.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Good. Awesome shot. I just love the way that looks.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Trading scars.
Yeah, they want to fuck.
Oh, you never got drunk with
Hey,
your buddies.
did you guys notice this right here? You notice that Brody is about to show his scar but doesn't.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he kind of does this. The theory is that's why he left New York, is that he was shot, and that's why he came to get a job to get an amity.
Okay.
But it's a very. The theory is that he shot and then killed the person that shot him, but that's why he doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Fan theory.
You want a drink? Drink to your leg. I'll drink to your leg. Okay.
And then we fuck.
Indianapolis. All right, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit so we can hear it. It's a little bit longer.
That's the USS Indianapolis.
That's a lot of heavy breathing.
Hey, it got turned on.
What happened? Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. He was coming back from the island of Tinian to Lady, just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups.
And music kicks in.
It was kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was shark comes to the nearest man, that man he starts pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark go away. Sometimes
Did you see that quiver right there of his lips? Like,
looks right into you,
oh, it's so
right into
good.
your eyes.
Those eyes.
The thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes,
Doll
like a
eyes.
doll's eye.
Like a doll's eyes.
When he comes at you, doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red. In spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come.
And the other thing that sells this is Hooper just staring at him in the background. Like
Captivated.
with respect and just
Boner.
Rip you to pieces. So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest. June the 29th, 1945.
Someone said he messed up the date.
We delivered the bomb.
Yeah, he was really drunk.
Yeah. I think the date's wrong. Something about June 29th or 1940. I think it's 1945 is wrong.
maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. But I don't give a shit.
Here's Brucey. Oh, yeah, there he is.
By the way, did it sound like the shark growled?
A little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Big fucking
Wait,
shark.
don't they growl? I
No,
always
they
thought
don't. They don't have vocal cords.
Oh shit.
Shark Tank. They don't have vocal cords?
No.
No room for them in that giant destroying mouth of
They're
Pac-Man.
fish.
They're just giant Pac-Man. That's all they are. They freaking freak me out so much. Shark Tank. Oh, I'm terrified. And like you can tell it's not real there, but it's so
Doesn't
good.
matter. Yeah,
So
doesn't
good.
matter.
Quinn!
Chomp, chomp.
Ah, I got him. And once again, this was a PG film.
Yep.
In my mind, all I hear is.
I love how he got him though. He got him with the fucking machete.
And then he did.
Kaboom! Little pieces of Quinn all over his teeth. Boom!
I don't know if that tank would make that big of an explosion. I'm almost certain he wouldn't.
Was that Quinn's body in there? You can see it. Crazy. Fucking Jaws, right? What a great movie. All right, recommendations. Let's go with Nope. That's going to be my first recommendation because if you haven't seen it, the third act is basically Jaws.
It's basically, you are so right, man. The cinematographer is Quint.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's so wild. And like, I don't know. I was in theaters watching it, and I love it. And I think it's a theatrical film. Like I said, I think the only thing is the score doesn't live up to what the movie has. And I think if the score would have been better, this movie would have been better. But for the most part, I really dig it. And it's like unlike anything you've ever seen before. And that's why I think Jaws works, is because it was unlike anything that had ever been seen before at that time on film. And this movie tries to do the same thing, and for the most part succeeds. So
I tell you what, man, Nope has changed the way I look at clouds.
Oh yeah, it'll fuck you up. It'll definitely fuck you up. The blood on the house scene, that was so bad.
Oh,
and then Jay called it Deep Blue Sea, of course. Deep Blue Sea is just stupid popcorn fun, and it's just so good, and it sticks with you.
The animatronics are amazing.
The CGI is not
good.
The CGI is not good though. The CGI.
Yeah, it was good. It was good in '99.
But man, the animatronic sharks in this movie are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely can't wait till we watch this one. I hope maybe episode 200. But look at that CGI. Oh my god. All right. With that said, what do you guys got for your recommends?
I have The Abyss.
Yes.
Have y'all seen The Abyss? That's a great one.
Of course.
And then The Sphere.
Spear
Have y'all seen that one?
Spear is very long, but it's not bad for a sci-fi film. But god damn it, is it long?
They're both
and you
great
really have to dig into what you think happened in it. So, but I do like it. It definitely sticks with you.
It's a mind fuck.
Yeah, Jay, David, what you got?
I'm gonna just go with one, and that's Duel. If you've never seen Duel, I highly recommend it. It's Spielberg's basically his first take on Jaws. It's a guy who cuts off a trucker on his way to work, and that trucker hunts him down for the rest of the movie. We never see the trucker. All you see is his boots, his hands, and the truck just terrorizing this guy. It's a made-for-TV movie, but it's one of Spielberg's firsts, and it's really fun to watch because you get to see, like, oh, this guy is going to be an amazing director.
Very nice. What you got, Jay?
I just got one more recommend after all those ones I talked about. How Alien kind of borrowed from this, but I'll talk a movie that kind of really marries Alien and Jaws together pretty well. And The Thing, that is 1989's Leviathan. It's a movie with it's a movie with Peter Weller. I can put it this way: it's got a great cast. Like, it's a movie that has a better cast than it deserves. It's got Richard Crenna from Rambo. It's got Amanda Pays from the Flash TV show. It's got Daniel Stern right before he did Home Alone. It's got Ernie Hudson, and Ernie Hudson plays the Mario Van Peebles character who gets killed at the very last second. It's got Hector Elizondo. I'm telling you, its cast is stellar. And their evil character is played by Meg Foster, who played Evelyn in Master Universe.
Is it called Leviathan because the cast is as large as one? Like,
I'll tell you the story. It's literally the Thing of the Sea. It's Thing of the Sea. There's not much else to put. It's a creature that's kind of evolving. But it absorbs people. It's like I said, I saw it way before I saw the Thing, so I've always got a soft spot for it. I actually had it on VHS for the longest time. I wish I would have held on to it, but yeah, Leviathan. That's my recommendation.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. With that said, thank you so much, everyone, for being here and doing this. Where can they find you on the internet, David?
They can find me at Stop Motion Nightmares on Facebook and Children of Dave on Instagram, and I'll be at the State Fair of Texas this Friday, and I'll be at the Addison Improv on, I believe, Jay, that's Wednesday the 26th.
26th. Tales from the Dark Side.
That's right. I'm excited, man.
With Puppet Master David Jessup. Yes.
That's right.
I love that flyer. I love that flyer.
You did a great job, man. That looks fucking flawless.
I was like,
so cool.
I was like, it looks okay, but
dude, it looks dope as shit.
Raph, where can they find you on the internet?
Real quick, 2 weeks ago, Hope, my girlfriend, she did her first podcast with Miss Most Days Off, and we reviewed, or actually we did Jaws versus Jurassic Park. Yeah. If you guys would please check that out, that's at Best Darn Diddly, and that's Miles Francis, Mr. Most Days Off. Check him out.
Very nice. And where can they find you on YouTube, Raph?
RFLSON 87.
Right on. Don't change it. Don't ever change it. That's all I'm going to say.
I got to change it.
I know you got to change it. Jay, Ego Phoenix is happening, right?
That's right. We're doing the Ego Phoenix Fearcast now in its 8th iteration. We call this one Season Great. We don't do entries every day. We just do them when they feel right to Jay. And so I've done quite a few. I'm really proud of the ones I've done so far this month. But I think I'm only going to do one Monday, and that'll be the last one of that'll be the Halloween. But I'm still looking to play around with a few other days, see if I can find something to do. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it this year. I wasn't even going to do it, but Magic Mike posted on my wall. I was like, what are you thinking? And obviously I'm not really doing it for a ton of attention, but like it was something I just did to pass the time like 7 years ago, and it's actually going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And you can catch me and Jay this weekend at Retropalooza in the Arlington Convention Center, which we will be there Saturday and Sunday, handing out some free tickets and having a good time, raffling off a Switch. So come put your tickets in. Make sure you get those. With that said, you can check us out at wearepodcast.podbean.com, where you can find all the podcasts. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at /wearepodcast. And you can find us every Monday for Camp Slash Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Next week is The Shining. Yes. And I'm all right, Raph. Well, keep pouring your heart, motherfuckers. I thought you were rushing me. I'm like, I'm not gonna. No, but seriously, guys, thank you so much for being here. Keep pouring in your heart. And with that said, let's cut the feed.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. And